Hi, I'm voiceover artist and impressionist Darren Altman, and you're listening to the Us People podcast with Savia Rocks.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Us People podcast. I'm your host, Savia Rocks, and today I've got Darren Altman with me, who is a voiceover artist impressionist. Hey Darren, how is it going? How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you so much for having me on. It's great.
No, thank you for coming on the show. So let's get into it, Darren. So you've been doing this for many years.
I've been a voiceover artist for maybe over 15 years now. In a previous life, I was a drummer, so I used to play a lot of jazz, big bands, recording sessions, music for film and TV, and places like Ronnie Scott's and recording at Abbey Road and all that sort of stuff.
I miss Ronnie Scott's. I used to go there quite often.
It's a wonderful place.
Yeah, it is. It's a wonderful
but
place.
yeah, but now full-time voiceover artist. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Let's talk about your background. So how did it all start for you? So what influenced you to actually become a voiceover?
So I'd never had any technical training, really. I mean, I was one of these kids that always did impressions and funny voices and accents, and always, impersonated my teachers and my friends. Probably annoyed quite a lot of them, I would imagine. But I always studied drums. So I went to music college, Leeds College of Music, Trinity College of Music in London, and the Guildhall School of Music and Drama, and playing drums and studying jazz. And then, so I had a great career as a drummer, and I made in around the early 2000s or something like that. I'm not sure. Maybe 2003. I made a very crude voiceover demo, just cobbled it together myself, and I sent it off to a few agents. I don't know why, and I got signed by a London agent. And it all sort of took off from there, really. They started, did a few TV commercials and some computer games. One thing led to another. And I'm still drumming, but sort of as and when, really. It's voiceovers are my main bread and butter, my main job now.
That's perfect. So I know you do voiceovers, but I also know you do stand-up.
I do. So a few years ago, I got to the semi-finals of Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah.
And I'd never had any. I wasn't one of these. A lot of the comedians that are on there, they. Don't mean it disparagingly because it's fine, but they had, they've got a long career behind them. Maybe they've been gigging for 10 years, but I never had any of that experience. I was incredibly green, and so basically I sort of reverse engineered it. I did Britain's Got Talent, got to the semi-finals, got picked up by a great manager who I'm with, and he said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, capitalize on the success. And he said, well, you got to get a following and do stand-up. And I went, bloody hell, oh, God. So I sort of then had to, I've been going around all the clubs and the comedy circuit and doing corporates and stuff. And I did it the other way around. So, I've only been doing it a few years, but it's good fun.
How is it for you when you go up on the stage? How do you feel when you're actually about to just perform in front of everyone?
Well, I can't lie. It's, I'm nervous. I get, because you just don't know how things. I'm still learning. I don't consider myself a professional by any stretch of the imagination. A lot of people have been doing this a lot longer than me. Yeah. But you develop a confidence and you develop stagecraft and what to do, what not to do, how to sort of try and win audiences over. But some of it flies. You can have a few good gigs and they're absolutely killing them, in hysterics, laughing at, and it just feels wonderful. And you've got other gigs that you just think, bloody hell, like, what have I said? They're just not, you can just tell that they're just not getting it. And you think, well, what am I doing differently? Am I phrasing things differently? Have I insulted anyone? No, it's quite strange.
How do you prepare how do you naturally prepare yourself when things go wrong? on stage, is there a technique or how you can bring it back? So if you're on stage, you're doing stand up, you say something and you think, like you just said, you think, oh my gosh, why did I say that? How do you bring yourself back from
I
it?
don't think it's a case of saying something wrong. I think it's a case of like sometimes the material just isn't sticking, it's just not flying. You can have 5 gigs and 3 of them can be absolutely brilliant for me anyway, from my experience, because I'm different. I do impressions, you see. I'm not a traditional stand-up comic. I'm a little bit different, so I'm doing celebrity
totally,
impressions.
you're unique.
But yeah, you can do a few and they're absolutely loving it, and it just feels like the freedom you've got on stage. It's a wonderful feeling. And then you can do exactly the same act, give it the same energy, and things just aren't landing, so yeah, I don't think it's a case of not saying something wrong or insulting the audience. And one thing you don't do is turn around and go, oh bloody hell, what's wrong with you lot? Because that wouldn't go down too well. So I think you just have to sort of soldier on and just try and be confident and sort of try and claw it back.
Talk us through the process of being a voiceover. What does a person say to you, or what does a company do to you? Do they come over and say, listen, I want you to do this, this is our spec, or how does it all work? What is the actual process?
Well, that's a very good question. So my job is very varied. I do, if you're walking around Asda or Wilkinson, you might hear me, giving out the special offers as you're walking around, or Co-op. If you're on the phone, you might hear me on, press 1 for support. Press. I did, web videos, corporate videos, a lot of radio ads. So, all the major groups, Heart, Capital, Virgin, all the major radio stations, TV adverts. I did a TV ad today, overdubbing a guy, I think it's for Vi Leader Mops. I did that today. So it's one of these where the guy, I think, is from Holland or something, but, instead of having him saying, oh, super mops, they keep you super cool. So it sounded like Sean Connery there, for God's sake.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So I had to overdub him. That was fun. Did a few radio ads today. Before, a couple of Christmases ago, they got in contact with me to say, could you do Poundland? The self-service checkouts?
That's it.
They wanted Elvis to do the announcements. So when you beep your things through, so I had to do 100 prompts saying, please shake your change, hound dog. And unexpected item in the bagging area. Return to sender. That was great.
That must have been pretty cool. How do you feel when you hear yourself? Like, say, for instance, you go into a store and then, boom, you just hear yourself. How does it make you feel?
I don't know because I don't really shop at Asda or the Co-op. We, I normally go in and out of our local Sainsbury's, but I made a point actually of going to just down the road in South London. They've got a big Poundland, so I made a point of going in there, and I could have hit it was mad. They had about 6, 7 beep beep. Oh, please take your change. Look, that's me. That's why I got my phone out just to sort of record myself, and a lady rushed in, said, no, you can't do that. I said, that's me, and she went, yeah, of course. I said, it's me. I said, oh, that's me doing the. She wouldn't allow me to film.
Oh, man.
I don't know whether she thought they dug Elvis up or what.
You never know. When it comes to inspiration, who would you say has inspired you to do what you do?
Wow, what a question that is. I've always loved Impressionists. As a kid, I used to love Spitting Image, so I used to stay up to watch it at 10 o'clock on a Sunday, and I used to record it on the video, and I used to watch it on a loop, that episode, till next week, and the next one came, and I had every episode, Spitting Image. So a lot of those voices, those Impressionists, Chris Barry, M. Rytel, I like Alistair McGowan's great, Rory Bremner is wonderful. Just really, there's another guy, a Scottish voiceover at the moment. He's been around for quite a few years, Lewis MacLeod, who you wouldn't know him at all, but you hear him every single day. He does all the movie trailers. He does a great Jeremy Vine impression. He's an incredible impressionist.
That's fine.
So yeah.
If there was talk about your technique. Okay, because I know everyone, regardless if it's singing or talking, there is a technique to what you do. Talk about what is the best technique for your voice and when you're acting and doing impressions or even voiceovers.
I don't really. I'm sort of more intuitive. So if you wanted me to do, and it depends on the brief. So if a client comes to me and says we want to do a radio advert, they'll tell me what the style is.
Okay.
So they say, okay, Darren, nice and friendly and upbeat. So I might say, this summer, come down to da-da-da for all the latest summer offers. And I know that this is audio, but we can see each other.
Yeah,
'Cause
cool.
we're on
Yeah, we
video.
can. Yeah.
So I would instinctively smile. And the fact that I'm smiling, actually physically smiling, comes across in the read.
Yeah.
So, but for someone else, that may not be, that may be too over the top. If I'm doing a more informative piece, they may want me to so you can, instinctively my volume came down then. They may want me to talk about the B16C spring valve that's used in all different motors, you know, whatever it is. So to talk like that about a spring valve would just sound ridiculous. But
Unless you're really enthusiastic about it.
So it's basically you get directed. If I'm not in a session where the client is directing me like we're talking now, and it's just an email comes in, then I will always ask them. I will email back and I'll say, what do you have in mind for this style and tone? Or they may listen to one of my show reels and say, okay, in the second example on your show reel, we like that. So that will give me. So I'm sort of guided really by what the client wants in terms of the tone and the style for their video or their project. In terms of impressions, then that's a little bit more instinctive. So, for example, if I was to do Gordon Ramsay, yes, he's very staccato and he accents certain words to illustrate his point. And I see I'm doing the hand gestures.
Yeah.
So someone like Boris, then you have to open up the throat and say your S's in a certain style. Huzzah! Yes. Ba 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 ba. So. It's always and then you've got Craig Cash in Derby. The Sadiqis in Leeds, sisters Ellie and Daisy, and he's got that sort of rasp in the back of his throat.
How do you look after your vocals? Because basically your vocals are your prime. They're like your premium. You have to look after them. How do you take care of your voice?
I smoke 40 a day. So,
Seriously?
No, I'm joking. No.
I don't come across like that.
I've never smoked. No, I'm joking. Your face. No, I've never smoked. And it's funny because I've never done warm-ups. I mean, a lot of, I'm in a few voiceover forums. And they talk about technique and warm-ups. I've got to admit, I don't do warm-ups. Maybe I should. But I just don't.
You don't
I
feel
just
like
sort
you're
of
straining your voice at all. And have you ever felt like you're straining your voice in any way when you're doing a voiceover or impression?
The only time I've sort of, I had to do a couple of auditions. I wouldn't do them again because they're just a waste of time for me. I got asked to do auditions for a couple of computer games, and they were. I won't demonstrate because I'll just knacker my voice, but they basically wanted me to go absolute balls out shouting, all this type of where you're rubbing your vocal cords together. And I did that for about half an hour. They processed my voice so much that it could have been you speaking. I mean, it was ridiculous. They put so much effects and processing, and I think that was it was halfway to Brighton, and I came home sucking on lozenges thinking, what a waste of time that was.
Yeah,
Didn't get the gigs.
That must have knackered your voice as well.
It ruined it, absolutely ruined it. But the thing that I thought was a bit upsetting was that they put so much processing and so much synthesis on my voice that it wouldn't have made my mum could have said something and it would have sounded,
Oh, man. Tell me a little bit about how people react to you when you say you do voiceovers, because not everyone understands what a voiceover is. I know it's bizarre. You should understand what a voiceover is, but not everyone does understand what a voiceover is and what you actually really do and what your process is of being a voiceover. How do people react when you say, this is my job, this is how I make a living?
Yeah, I think they go, oh, wow, because it's not, it's not like I'm a plumber or a builder or, chef, or I think it's an unusual job, definitely. I mean, from one day to the next, I don't know if I'm working unless there's a session booked in, like next week you're doing this or that. So I literally get up and check my emails and, and make sure my phone's switched on. Yeah. And so it's an unusual job in that respect. But yeah, I think people are just like, oh, that's interesting. And, and if they don't know, then I'll explain, as we did at the beginning of this chat, explain the videos and TV and radio ads. And, I think people are interested. They don't sort of say, oh, do a voice, because.
What's your best voiceover or impression? For you, what do you think that you can say I've nailed this one. I know I'm good at this one.
Do you know what? I think. I mean, I've got a lot of impressions that I like doing, but I just think that, I mean, like something today, when we did this advert today, I was being directed. There were a lot of people down the line. So there was creatives from the production company. There was the client. There was a producer. There must have been 5 or 6 people all sort of talking and adding input. That
must be kind of hard because you're having to deal with so many people and their ideas and their opinions on what you should do.
Yeah, very true. And they're all pitching in. Can you do it more like this? Can you do it more like that? But I just think, as long as I know that I've done a good job. So, for example, we read the read lots of different times. It was an overdub. So I was being the guy that you see in the picture, but they wanted an English voice. Yeah. So, and they had someone else to do the sort of silly bit, as it were. Yeah. So we did it a few times. They were very, very happy with the read. But in one part of the visuals, because it was for a mop, the guy's sliding along the floor, and he's saying something about, you can keep cool with your tiles. I've forgotten what the line was, but they say, could you do it again and just read it? Maybe give us a bit of movement. So it was like, keep cool with your tile. So, you have to sort of then get into a little bit of voice acting. Yeah. And they said, that's great. That's going to work really well with the visuals, because the way I did it the first time with their direction wasn't wrong. But with the visuals, it would have been a bit static. But when I said, keep cool with your tile, So as long as the client's happy, as long as they go away and say, you've done a good job, Darren,
then you're happy.
Yeah, that's great. Well,
yeah. If you were stuck on a desert island and you had all the food and water, what one film or album would you take with you that represents? Oh, God.
My word. One film or album. Well, I think it'd probably have to be a double album.
That's cheating. Darren, that's cheating.
What about now? The whole now that's what I call music. No, I'm joking. Probably. Oh wow! What a I think one band that doesn't get a lot of credit is The Who. Everyone knows My Generation and things like that, but they did their rock opera Tommy. Yeah. I just think that is such from start to finish, it's orchestrated. There's beautiful. All the arrangements are amazing. The songs are incredible. But then you've got things like Pat Metheny's Secret Story, which is great.
It's a hard decision right there for you, Darren.
Maybe some Miles Davis, Miles Smart.
Oh, yeah. You have to take some Miles with you.
Yeah. Wow. What a question.
I like to ask random questions because it just puts people on the spot.
That was incredible. My word. Yeah, maybe Tommy would be good because it takes you through 1 minute you're crying listening to that, and
the next minute you're happy and
beautiful.
Okay, here's another one for you, Kay. You ready? If you had an unlimited budget of money, so you have infinity money, right? What would you change in the music not in the music industry, I should say, in the entertainment industry, especially when it comes to voiceovers or people who do a similar job or role like you do? What would you change for them to make it better?
Well, I think that voiceovers should be paid the correct usage for starters.
I was gonna get to that.
Because without wishing to go down a rabbit hole, there's a lot of sites and a lot of undercutting going on, and a lot of people doing very, very high profile jobs, by which I mean it's going on TV in a lot of territories and they're getting paid peanuts. And a lot of people, no matter how much we try and educate people starting out in the business to maintain rates and to, you've got voices that will do, or voiceovers that think of it as a hobby. It's not a hobby, it's a business, just like any other business, and you should treat it as a business. If you don't treat it as a business, you won't have a success or make a full-time career out of it. So you've got a lot of people undercutting, or maybe they don't understand what usage is, and there's websites which don't want to pay the correct usage. So that sort of doesn't really answer your question, but I think that's a very good route to go down, to make sure that if someone wants a voiceover, they understand exactly what they're getting, the benefits that they're getting, and to pay them accordingly. If you hire someone to paint your house or someone to fix your car, you don't argue with them. If they say it's going to be 200 quid to fix your alternator or whatever, you go, well, fine, that's what the charge is. They say it's going to be 500 quid to paint your house. You go, well, yeah, I could get it for 450 or 3, So why try and argue the toss with a voiceover and say, oh, well, you're only speaking, mate.
Yeah, but do you find that they do that with most people who are creative? They have a tendency to try and cut us down because we are people of a creative nature.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you've got someone playing a classical guitar in front of you, playing some John Williams or something, people are going to go, wow, my God, I couldn't do that. Yeah. And of course you couldn't, because it takes years and years of lessons and practice and hard work. Being able to read aloud and to voice, I see no reason that should be treated as just a I won't swear, but as an easy thing. You're reading aloud. What else are you doing? Well, you try and do the session that I've done this afternoon with 6 people on the line, all directing you and telling you what they want, and then see how easy it is.
I know how hard that is, especially in photography. It's a different. Yeah, you have loads of people telling you what to do and how to do it. How do you know what to price yourself as? We don't have to get into figures or anything, but
no. Well, so basically, what happens is it really depends. For radio adverts, Equity, the union has a rate card, so we sort of stick to that. It's not as much as you would think, trust me. But for other work, we have what's called a session fee. Yeah. So you have a basic session fee, and that's your fee for going into the studio and recording. Yeah. And then on top of that, you have usage. So if it's for the web, you'll add usage accordingly. If it's a national TV campaign, you would have usage based on the number of times it's going to be shown and the amount of people that will see it. So obviously, a TV commercial in the middle of the Britain's Got Talent final is going to have maybe 11, 15 million people watching it. Whereas if it's going to be on in the middle of the day on ITV4, maybe 2 men and a dog on the Woodwork channel at the end of Sky, do you know what I mean? Then 2 men and a dog might see it. So the usage there will be considerably lower.
So I know any industry is hard to get into, but how would you say that you push yourself and your boundaries within yourself so that you are able to better yourself as a person and work better within the industry that you're in?
These are very good questions you're asking, Normally people say, oh, Darren, do your David Attenborough. That's a very good question. I would say, well, like I said, it's a business, and if you sort of want a Mickey Mouse about it, there's some people that have a home setup, they do their day job, they come home, they look at all the websites, and maybe a job that's worth 500 quid, they'll do it for 50 quid or 30 quid because they don't understand usage, and they just like the glory of them hearing themselves on a video or something, So treat it as a business, work really hard at getting clients, clients, contact, cold call, email, get really good show reels produced, which demonstrate your range, lots of different styles.
You have a really good show reel on your website. I must admit that you have a really good one. Like voiceover.
Thank you.
I've watched I've listened to all of yours. I just should say, and I was like, okay,
that's very kind of you. And the other thing is that for different genres, you have different show reels.
Yeah.
So for corporate reels, if someone wants me to voice a web video, narrating a 5-minute video on oil rigs, they're not going to be interested in my animation show reel.
Exactly. There you go.
Which has got, and likewise, someone that wants to hire me to voice a cartoon isn't going to be interested in my e-learning.
True. That makes sense.
So. But, and the other thing is, and don't forget that when you set up a studio, like a proper one that I'm in, I'm not voicing, as you can see in front, with duvets all around me. It's a beautiful broadcast quality studio with a double acoustic window. There's lots of windows. There's 2 doors behind me. I mean, if you listen to this. And there's another door behind that. It costs thousands of pounds.
I can imagine.
And and likewise, all the show reels that it costs money to produce. So, when a voiceover artist charges X, it's because of the time and the money they've invested in their studio as well.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense.
Sorry, I hope you don't think I'm ranting or getting on a soapbox, but
don't be silly. You know what? I would prefer you to say what you have to say on the Us People podcast than anywhere else. The reason why I say this, Darren, is because you're helping people to understand that some people think that you're getting loads of money. Yeah, and I'm not saying that you're not, but I just feel that in any creative industry, we don't get paid as much as we should for our time, effort, and our talent. So to me, it's the more you express yourself and be who you are authentically, the better it is for a listener to understand that this is really what's going on and this is really how it is. And if this is an industry that you want to get into, look at other avenues. Look at look at it in a business sense, like you're trying to say. So everything, you're not ranting. I love the fact that you're being honest.
And don't forget, I left, a perfectly good career that I was making drumming. I was doing a lot of gigs, a lot of sessions and jazz stuff. And I basically chose to go in a different direction. And
was you happy doing drumming? Was you happy there?
Oh, I loved it. Yeah. Well, I mean, I loved it. The function work that we have to do, on a Friday and Saturday night was getting a little bit, I've got a wife and 2 daughters now. And actually before I got married, it was just getting a bit sort of getting done with driving into town and double parking and slapping my gear, the one end of the Grosvenor house. And then, 2 a.m, having to that door was closed right where your car's parked, so you got to slap it on the other bloody exit. And do me a favor. Oh no, I was done with that, So maybe that contribute, going up through the fucking kitchen. Anyway,
we've all done it once or twice.
The score.
I'm not going to deny it. Not at all.
Yeah. Can I have a vol au vent? No, you can't. Get out of the way.
What's your best memory that you have so far? Would you say it doesn't have to be in what you do, but what is the best memory you have so far when it comes to doing your work or
well, obviously, you say things like marriage, getting married, having my 2 girls, they were a very good, 3-4 out of 10. So I think Emma, if you're listening, hi. I think that in terms of career-wise, without a shadow of a doubt, it's got to be the first audition for Britain's Got Talent, which is in front of David Walliams and Alicia and Amanda and Simon Cowell. I mean, I was so nervous I could have been sick, and then to get a standing ovation, from all 4 judges, and Simon Cowell saying, that I was the best impression he's seen in 10 years of the show. I mean, it was a pinch me moment, you know, like if you could bottle that feeling and take it around with you everywhere. I mean, it really did change the whole outlook on my life, I think, really, and my whole perception of just going for stuff and not saying no. Like, even if you're absolutely shit scared to go into a situation, just do it, because what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, I thought so. It's just kind of like conquering your fears at the same time. Here's a question for you, Darren. Define what success means to you, because everybody has a different definition. So if you could define what success means to you, how would you define it?
Right. So
I wish everyone could see your face right now.
So maybe I've got maybe I'm slightly, because I'm the sort of, I mean, success is obviously being able to, you know, support your family and, you know, do what you want to do, having, you know, maybe happiness, so you're content with life, so that you're financially stable, so you can do nice things, take your family on holidays, do nice treats, you know. You know, if you're happy and content with your lot, then that's success. You know, I'm very lucky. I've got a job that I really enjoy doing. I've got a great wife, 2 great girls. I'm very lucky that I've got a lovely house and a garden, and, you know, that, I mean, to me, that's success. I mean, I've still got, the reason that you said, oh, look at your face, is because I've still got things that I want to aspire to do that I haven't accomplished and I haven't achieved. But that's for me to sort of crack on, carry on, and be in a situation that I can achieve my own personal goals. So I'm not 100% fulfilled at the moment. I've got things that I want to attain, you know, and I just think that, you know, I'm very hungry, and I would still work hard to do what I want to do, just for my own satisfaction, you know, really.
No, that's fair. And I think it's good for us to have our own goals in life and climb up that mountain, because some of us get to a certain point and we decide that's it, we're happy there and we'll stay there. Whereas other people will be like, no, I want to get further. And it's not because of greed or anything. It's just because you want to do better for yourself.
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with money. Absolutely nothing to do with, you know, earning big bucks and being. It's just certain things that I want to achieve within the industry, just for me. You know, just to sort of say, yeah, you did that. You know, you set your eyes on something and did it. So we'll see what happens.
No, it'll be good. You have to just stay optimistic and positive about it. What would you say to other voiceovers or impressionists who are just starting out in the business? Is there anything that you wish that you did differently that you could pass on to them so they don't make that or go down that road?
Oh, God, yeah. How long have you got?
Oh, we've got plenty of time. I've got like a 64 gig SD card in there for you.
Oh, right. I have a love-hate relationship with social media, and don't drink and post.
Don't drink and post.
No, don't drink and post. Don't get in from the pub at 12 o'clock and then at 1 o'clock in the morning think that you're saying something reasonable, because you're not. You're being a dick. So I would say be very, very careful of how you're perceived in things like social media. Be nice to everyone. Don't cause trouble. Don't cause hassle. Be nice to work with. Get along with people. Be someone that is not only good at their job, because you sort of take it for granted that you're good at your job and you can deliver. Do you know what I mean? Within a certain, like for example,
I understand it.
If you're a muso and you're on the bandstand, you sort of take it for granted that you're going to be surrounded by like-minded musicians who can play. You know, and if they can't play, they shouldn't be on the gig. Really.
Yeah, fair enough.
So then you got the other thing, which is beyond your abilities, is to be nice. You know, say to clients, is there anything else I can do for you? You know, what else can I do for you? You know, if you're not happy with something, have the confidence to say, listen, can I give you another read of this? I think, or read this section again. I just noticed something. Be someone that someone wants to come back to and hire again and again. You know, oh, we loved working with Savia. You know, we'll get her in again. She was great. You know, that's going to stand you in good stead down the line.
No, that makes
If you're
perfect
difficult to
sense.
work with or an arsehole or have got an ego, excuse me, people won't want to work with you,
How
and
do you
rightly
handle your
so.
ego, Darren? How do you handle your ego as a person? How would you say you come across to people, and how do you think that people interact with you when it comes to having an ego? Because I've seen a lot, and I've spoken to a lot of people whose egos have let them down. If that makes any
Well, this
sense
is
at
what,
all.
yeah, well, I mean, this is what I was saying about social media. I can't lie and stand here and say, I'm holier than thou, because I'm not. I mean, in a situation on a session in studios in London or here, you know, absolute consummate professional. It would bend over backwards, for clients within reason.
Yeah.
I just make sure that they go away happy. So don't let yourself down in other aspects. I've learned by my mistakes. I'm not the same person I was a few years ago, certainly. So just be nice. Just be nice to people, and remember that if you're on the way up, don't piss people off, because you'll see them on the way down.
That's true. Oh, yeah. I've heard that before many a times in our podcast. Yep, that is so true. What inspires you to keep doing your work?
I just enjoy it. I really do enjoy it. I mean, there's stuff that we do, e-learning and narrations, which you do. I mean, they're not the most exciting. Like if you're doing a half an hour narration about oil rigs, or mechanical diggers, or whatever it will be. Or I had a whole hour and a half about Legionellosis, Legionnaire's disease, a couple of weeks ago. That was quite interesting, really, but it's not the most thrilling. But you still have to. You're getting paid to do your job, so you read it in the style they want. You edit it. You do a good job, and hopefully, they come back and they say, yeah, obviously you don't read it with a wacky voice and with a water infection has gone up by 22% in the last 10 years. Fungi is rife in water pipes up and down the country. But you do a good job, be professional.
You try to be as professional as possible. If there was
Sting, Bring on the Night. That's a good album. That's a double album. Yeah, it's fantastic.
You're thinking of albums again?
I just saw something go past on your screensaver that reminded me of the album cover. Sting, Bring on the Night. Yeah,
no, these are all my photos that I've taken when I've had to go out to gigs, and like I did bodybuilding events, and oh my god.
Oh, great.
That was a bit of a nightmare, that one, but it was nice.
Wow.
It's cool. Was there ever a time, Darren, where you felt to yourself that you wanted to give up on what you were doing because maybe you didn't have enough money, or you had a lack of support from someone, or anywhere? Or because I know in our minds sometimes we all get to a certain point in our life where we feel like things are a little bit stressful, and you feel like you're not achieving what you believe you should be achieving. What did you do to get out of it?
Wow. Just kept on going, really. Just knuckled down and kept on going, and just kept on going, finding work, finding more clients, being really good and reliable for the clients that I have got, so they know. I work from home, and if I go for a wee, my phone goes with me, and I'm really quick replying to people, because I just want to be. I want people to know, Darren, we can ring him up anytime and he will be there on it.
Yeah, you were quick coming back to me as well, actually, I must say.
Oh, I don't hang about, I just don't hang. And it's funny, actually. So I'm forgotten the question, but when I heard when I was first starting out, a lot of people had this notion of, you don't want to answer emails or straight away. Oh, no, hang on for a couple of hours, because otherwise people think you're not busy and you're not working. Well, I think that's absolute bullshit.
No, I think it makes you efficient.
Be efficient, if an email comes in, unless I'm on a run or I'm doing a workout, because that's the only time I want time to myself. I turn my, I put it on silent mode, and I go running for an hour, or I'll do my workout. But apart from that, you can call me up. Don't bother me, whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
Be available. So, in answer to your question, what was the question again? Oh, sorry. It's getting too hot for me. I'm on one.
No, where's your fan? Do you have one in there with you?
I've got an air conditioner, but I won't put it on because it will just go in the background. None of us want that.
My question was there ever a time where you felt like you wanted to give up?
Yeah, no, just keep on going, better yourself, and set yourself goals. I've got goals that I want to attain, like I said to you before. So, until I do what I want to do, I'll just keep going. Just keep on being a good person. Improving my skills, showing people what benefits I can bring them, and I'm very lucky. It's a wonderful job to do.
It is. No, I must admit it is. That's why I was so happy when you replied back. If you weren't doing what you was doing today, what profession do you think you would be doing?
Lion tame. No, what would I be doing? I don't know, maybe, drumming, I loved that. I love being behind a kit. Maybe TV, because presenting. I've the bits of presenting I've done, I've really enjoyed. It wasn't glamorous or showbiz, but that was enjoyable. That would be a good. I love radio as well. I'm really passionate about radio. I love listening to good radio. So maybe something like, maybe I'll be Rylan. He seems to be doing.
Why don't you have your own radio station, Darren?
Oh, do you know what? It's really hard work. Radio. There's a lot of great talented people out there. Radio's great. Radio's really good. I did hospital radio when I was about 17, 18. I really enjoyed that. That was good fun. Yeah.
See, now you're thinking. I can see you thinking about it. Like, maybe I should do radio. Yeah. See. Yeah.
Maybe I'd breed worms. I don't know.
You never know. If it makes you happy. What advice would you give to your fans, or just people who just support you, about being positive and doing your dream rather than running away from it?
Well, I don't know about the word use of fans, but to my fans, well,
hey,
yeah.
Okay, call them your supporters.
To my supporters, yeah, I just think it's back to what I was saying about Britain's Got Talent. Really, I'd had no experience, and suddenly I was performing on stage at the London Palladium in front of 3,000 people. And then I did a live semi-final in front of 11 million people, and like I said, those experiences taught me just to throw yourself into stuff. Don't say no, because, like when I go on stage, even if it's in a pub and there's 20 people watching, or 15 or 10, you don't know who's going to be in the audience.
That's true.
You don't know. With you there. You don't know if there's going to be someone from TV or radio. Not that it's about being spotted and being catapulted. Don't get me wrong, but or you don't know what someone's going through. You could do a gig to 10 people and really affect a couple of them or one person, and have them say, "Oh, do you know what? I was so down, but that really," and those little things like that. So just keep on going. You just don't know what life's going to throw at you.
That's true. That is really true.
And really just say yes. I think don't be afraid. What's the worst? You're only here for a short space of time, so you might as well just have goes at things and see what happens.
Yeah, I think people think that time is endless and they think they're going to be here for infinity, but time goes so fast, and before you know it, you blink your eyes and it's already 10, 15 years or 20 years has gone by. So it's if you had to come back in another life, what do you think you'd be doing?
Wow. What would I be doing? My God. It would probably, it would be performing of some description, I think. Just in there, isn't it? Drumming, impressions, stand up, stupid voices. It's maybe just performing in some, I think, making people happy. And even when I was behind a drum kit, playing in jazz clubs, to, few old people, it would bring them so much joy. And it would be so great to play with musicians that you can bounce off of and interact. And, whether it's a small jazz trio or, a pop or a funk thing, it was to have that ability to communicate with people in some form or another. Right. So, well, probably I'm a bit of a show off, as you can probably tell. So it would probably be entertainment some way.
If there was one person that you wish you could work with, who would it be, and why would you choose that particular person?
Wow. You see, I've got people that I really, really respect, like my peers that I haven't worked with yet. Voiceovers, artists. Well, in my field, there's the guy, Lewis McLeod, who I think's great. We've met a few times. He's an incredible voiceover artist and impressionist. Kate Robbins, who used to do Spitting Image. She actually wrote the theme to Surprise, Surprise. Do you know Kate? Yeah. She's great. I've never done a voiceover session with her. Just to be on a in a studio working with people that you really respect and admire and look up to. There's another guy who does a lot of cartoons. He's a great voiceover artist, Mark Silk, who does things like the Go Jetters, and he's Grandmaster Glitch in the Go Jetters, and does a lot of other voices. I think he's a great, to be in a studio with him would be good. Jess Robinson, who did Britain's Got Talent, she's a great voiceover actor. Just to be working and doing good work with people that that you would laugh with. Yeah. I could name names, and and half your audience are literally falling asleep, at the moment.
No, they're not.
But do you know what I mean? Like if you aspire, if you like people and you respect them,
you just want to work with them.
Yeah. In whatever industry, whether whether you're a chef and you aspire to cook with Marco Pierre White or whoever,
No, that makes sense. That makes total sense. But if there was one, like, I know it's hard. I know it's a hard choice to make. Oh, I know it. See, look at his face. He's like, oh my gosh, I have to pick one. And it went out there, and they heard that you want to work with them.
Wow. I'm afraid we're going to have to rush you, Darren. I just like, could you stop saying I honestly, I can't name names.
That's all right.
Anyone that I respect and that I think is talented it would be a pleasure to be on the same, I won't say billing, but on the same session or same job as them. That'd be great for me.
As long as you're happy doing it, then that's all that matters. So that's my last question. My last question for you, Darren. Okay, where can we find you on all your social media platforms?
At the bottom of the garden, crying. No, where can you find me? So I'm on.
Give you some vodka.
Yeah, that's right. I'm on Twitter at Darren Altman, DarrenAltman. I'm on Instagram, which is Darren_Altman. I'm on Facebook. My website's darrenaltman.com. I'm even on TikTok. The kids love the impressions, Oh yeah, I've got like nearly 21,000 followers, I think, or no, 22,000. Honestly, they love it. Kids love it. I'm well down. Safe. Yeah, blood, you get me. No, they love it. Yeah, bruv. They love all that. TikTok, yeah. Twitter's good. I like Twitter. Twitter's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to follow us now.
Or my website, darrenaltman.com. That way you can hear all my my voiceovers and my impressions. I do lots of impressions and put it out on social media. I'm always doing Boris Johnson because he's a gift that never stops giving at the moment.
Yeah, he is actually.
And Donald Trump and people like that. So there's mileage and all of that. Yeah.
Oh man. How much impressions have you given us today on the podcast, actually, when I think about it?
No, I did a few, but you've been asking very good and pertinent questions. So yeah.
Do you know what? It's not that I know you don't love your job. I just feel like everybody will be asking you to do impressions all the time.
Yeah, it's funny, if it's one of those things that, if I don't sort of say I'm an impressionist, when you say I'm a voiceover artist, people say, what do you do? Well, but because if you say impressionist, they go, oh, go on, give us one. And then you're duty bound to
give them one.
No, listen, you bought me a load of old tut, right? Now with respect, you're fired. So that was a very good Davina McCall.
Stop it.
They'll ask you to sort of trot all the voices out. So, yeah, thank you for not putting me on the spot too much. Yeah.
No, I tried my best not to,
I'll try and keep it current, you see. I like doing a lot of the sort of new comedians that way. I'm not doing sort of old school. That's the other thing when you're an impressionist. You have to try and keep it up to date, because as soon as you...
How hard is it to keep it up to date?
Well, it's just sort of listening to voices. Like I really should nail Robert Peston now, because he's on TV all the time. He's on every single day, multiple times a day. And when you're doing Robert Peston, everything's on the exhale. The Prime Minister said. So I need to nail him, but I've been trying to keep it up to date with a lot of.
How do you know when you've nailed someone, Darren?
I just sort of feel it. I like Robert Peston isn't there yet. He's not. I need to sit down. Joe Lycett's someone I really need to sit down and work on because he's got a fantastic voice. He's really good. Got a really distinctive voice. But yeah, just people I do people like what's his face? Joe Lycett, not Joe Lycett, Joel Dommett. Because he's on TV. He's like the new guard, so he's quite fun to do. He's sort of got, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this. Oh, ladies, I cannot wait. Everything he says, I cannot wait. Oh, please welcome onto the stage. Lady, I'm so excited for this. I cannot wait. Sphinx.
Oh, man. So do you record it and then listen back to it and know whether or not you've nailed it, or do you just say it?
I just sort of do it. The shower's good. Acoustically, showers
good.
Or if I'm
good.
driving around, obviously people haven't been doing that much driving, but if you're driving around, you might sort of attempt certain voices. It's funny. I'm incredibly lonely.
I don't know. I'm sure you've got a beautiful family there who have to listen to you all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, my little daughter does a good Gordon Ramsay. Hey, big boy. Hey, look at me. Hey, big boy. Hey. Where's the fucking lamb sock? No, Callie, you can't say that. No, I'm joking.
On that note, Darren, I want to thank you so much for coming on the Ask People podcast with me today. It's been funny.
Thank you. And thank you for asking some really good questions. It's been, putting me on. Sorry about the long pauses. You can edit them out, can't you? You can cut them out.
Do you know what? It's funny enough you say that. I actually don't really edit that much out when I'm doing a podcast. The only reason why is because I like to leave some of them in because it shows that you were thinking, or shows how, sometimes a pause can show how you're feeling. See?
And if I've got a friend who's been in the business for years, and he's got a thing about, if you're going to be a voiceover artist, you need to learn how to do the double Iranian pause. And if you can nail the double Iranian pause, it's a winner.
See?
There's no such thing as the double Iranian pause, clearly, but he likes to just baffle people.
It makes people think, though, right?
One man, one desire. Yeah.
So, all right.
She was a woman all alone with a podcast. He was a guy with issues. So thank you so much. It's been good fun.
Thanks, Darren. I'm going to do my outro now, Darren. Oh, guys, thank you so much for listening to the Ask People podcast. Please remember you can subscribe to Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and any other platform that you prefer to listen to. Please also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and also follow Darren. And remember, you can also donate to the Ask People podcast with Savia Rock, so we can continue to do lovely podcasts with people like Darren. All you need to do is go into your PayPal account and click in paypal.me/Ask People podcast. And thank you so much for listening. And as always, stay happy, stay positive, and continue to be kind to one another.